no, this is you?
This is me.
Don't be short on this. Yeah, I did. That's my fault. My fault. I may have to leave a little early, so I'm not feeling I have Yaakov coming later. Yaakov, right. Yaakov is coming after. So I can make the train at 11:34. 11:34. I think that he's going outside. He's sent to you. Yeah. It's a long time, but it's not a good situation.
A lot of time to keep on. He's already. I don't know what he's waiting for. The water's there. Oh, it must be summer. That's all summer outfit. They don't move that wall. Learning all morning.
By the way, it's I said also.
It's been a long time before Pesach since we were together. It's Chabura.
Sponsorship. Sponsorship.
Yeah.
No, but Rahman is
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
It was also for the year. But first of all, to thank Rabbeinu Rachmani, the Mishpacha, Shirom being sponsored to say, Rabbi Noam Zechron Levracha. I don't remember the other name for the year. Okay. So there was a machshava that I had actually flying back from HSL. So it was an elevated thought that I had. And I wanted to share with you by way of returning to the sugya of Yosef HaTzadik. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it right now, but just something I wanted to talk to you about. To be in that mahalach of this avodah of Yosef HaTzadik, and to hopefully begin before the summer starts with some of the practical things just very simple practical things to talk about to get ready for the summer. So around 2 years ago, I spent a good couple of weeks talking about Rabbi Akiva. The three tzaddikim during this tkufa, three tanoim during this time, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Meir. The aura of these three tanoim is very, very strong now. But the Indian of Rabbi Akiva What we're talking about is the remarkable Gemara in Menachos on Daf Chavtes, and the Medrashis in Medrash Rabbah and Tanchuma, where Chazal say something very, very remarkable about Rabbi Akiva, and I'm sure that all of you remember this and you know this. Dvarim sheloi niglu l'Moshe, that there were things that were not revealed to Moshe Rabbeinu. Sheloi niglu l'Moshe, niglu l'Rabbi Akiva b'chaveir. But they were revealed, they were made known to Rabbi Akiva, and subsequently to Rabbi Akiva's Chabura. And the Gemara brings a pasuk in Iyov, Chav Ches. The pasuk is V'chol Yakar Ra'asa Eino. V'chol Yakar. Yakar Ra'asa Eino. He saw every precious thing, Yakar, valuable, precious. V'chol Yakar Ra'asa Eino. Zer Rabbi Akiva V'chaver. The Gemara darshans that when it says in Iyov V'chol Yakar Ra'asa Eino, that there was a Jew who lived once upon a time. V'chol Yakar. Now we learned that Kol is Chamishim Shari Bina, that Moshe Rabbeinu saw 49, but not the 50th, and the Kol, that's what we were talking about a couple of years ago. Kol Yakar Rasa Eino. And Chazal received that this pasuk in Iyov is referring, is hinting to Rabbi Akiva, that there was information that was hidden from Moshe Rabbeinu. Kol Yakar, all that is precious, everything, Rasa Eino. Rabbi Akiva saw what Moshe Rabbeinu didn't see. Now we know that the Kadmonim Magalu does that Akiva ben Yosef, Rabbi Akiva and Akiva ben Yosef, there's the neshama of Yosef HaTzadik. Rabbi Akiva was Yosef HaTzadik, returning to the world. Akiva ben Yosef, and we also know from the Ari HaKadosh that even though Yosef HaTzadik ran away from the wife of Potiphar, that he was Misgaber and Vayonas V'yetza Chutza, despite the fact that he succeeded, he didn't fall into that temptation of the wife of Potiphar. Nevertheless, Chazal tell us, Psukim, we don't have time to go, we don't have to go to the Psukim, and Chazal tell us that there were 10 drops of Zerah that came out from Yosef HaTzadik when that happened, before he ran away. So there was on his Madrega, the Gemara says this in Sota and Daf Lamed Vav Amud Beis, that there was a mirshal, that in his Madrega something happened, something went wrong, and the Ari HaKadosh revealed to us that the Asara Haruge Malchus, that the 10 Tanoim who were killed, Al Kiddush Hashem, I mentioned yesterday that we read about the Avodah of Yom Kippur and Tisha B'Av and so on, that the Asar Harugei Malchus, they weren't killed at the same time. The davening looks like it was all at the same time, but it was over a period of time that the 10 Harugei Malchus are somehow to be Mesakein, to repair the damage that took place as a result of the 10 drops of seed of Zerah that came out from Yosef HaTzadik on that day. And this is the teaching of Arizal, as it's recorded in the Shara Mamari Chazal on Shabbos. This is what the Ari HaKadosh taught. Rabbi Akiva, Liyoshu haya echad mi'oisam esed tipin. That Rabbi Akiva was somehow, the whole Metzias, the life of Rabbi Akiva was in one of those drops. As the Arizal said, it was in one of those drops that came out when Yosef HaTzadik was Misgaber. L'chein nikra Rabbi Akiva ben Yosef stam. Therefore, he is Rabbi Akiva ben Yosef, and the Arizal says not just that his father was Yosef, but Yosef stam. That he was Yosef. L'chein Yoshev arbaim shana shelo l'matera. Therefore, when we look at the life of Rabbi Akiva lived for 120. And when we look at his life, the Arizal says It's divided into 3 different periods of 40 years. The first 40 years of his life, he was a self-described Am Haaretz. He did not learn Torah at all. Not only that, but we see from Chazal that he detested Talmidei Chachamim. So that's the first 40 years. And then there were the 40 years of learning, and then the 40 years primarily of teaching. The Arizal says, Kineged Arboim Saya Shal Mei HaTvila, and the number 40, which is significant in terms of how his life was divided, correspond to the requirement of the 40 Saya of water that go into the mikveh. So Mei HaTvila HaMatar Mezbalkari. That's matar, a person who spilled seed. A balkari. Balkari is someone who was the loss of seed. Va'oz nikra yakar. So the Arizal says that's why Rabbi Akiva is called yakar. V'chol yakar ra'as eino. Yakar, precious, valuable. Yakar is the same letters as kari. Kamashakasa v'chol yakar ra'as eino. Va'ata niskan hakeri liyakar. And in his lifetime, Rabbi Akiva was able to bring about this tikkun for the rias keri, the seed that came out from Yosef HaTzadik, because Rabbi Akiva ben Yosef is the reappearance of Yosef in the world, and he was able to be misake in the keri and to transform the keri into what? Into yakar. Chol yakar ra'asa ein. Zeh Rabbi Akiva shehisig mashal hisig Moshe Rabbeinu al b'shal. This is Rabbi Akiva, who was able to reach Hasagis. Not going to how could that be? That's not for now. We spoke about that a lot back then. What's something that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know. We're not going into that now. But he was able to reach a Madrega, Hasagis, Mashal Hisig Moshe Rabbeinu, Ki Moshe Rabbeinu Hisig Element Tesharim. Because Moshe Rabbeinu, we know that he was able to accomplish that 49 Sharim, the 49 gates of Bina. V'hisig Achamisha. Rabbi Akiva was masig kol. Chaf Lamed is 50. Kol Yaka Ra'as Eino, which is the union of Sfir Saimer, 49. 50 is Yovel, which we spoke a lot about back then. So Rabbi Akiva came to this Madrega, and it's the tikkun of the Yakar is the tikkun of the Keri, of the Rias Keri of in his earlier appearance in the world as Yosef HaTzadik. So this is a Gilui from Ariya Kodesh. If you don't believe in the Ariya Kodesh, you can take it up with him. He's buried in Svaz. You might not make it back, but you can take it up with him. Everybody's machnir themselves to Ariya Kodesh. Everybody is machnir themselves to Ariya Kodesh. So this is the Metzias. He's talking about something that he knew. That the 120 years of Rabbi Akiva, the first 40 years where he didn't learn, the second set of 40 years when he was learning, and then when he was teaching, the last 40 years, and the number 40 corresponds to the mikveh, Timim Sak and the Keri of the earlier life of Yosef HaTzadik, and that's the Akar, Ra'asa Eino, changing the Keri into Akar. Now, when we learn something like this, we're allowed to try to understand it on our level. There's a very deep gilui here, in terms of our avoda, of repairing this problem of Keri. This problem that we actually were relating about yesterday in the Teichel. The word Keri. To try to understand on our level what this is talking about. So there's a pasuk that is very, very well known because it's the end of Torah Sheba'al Peh. It's a pasuk from Mishlei, and it contains the greatest bracha that's awaiting all Jews, hopefully, in the world to come. Lahanchil lo ahava yesh v'osrosehem amalei. Lahanchil lo ahava yesh. Hashem promises, I give those who love me yesh. I looked into the English. The English translates it as substance. Yesh. Lahanchil oihavai yesh, va'oitzveisehem amalei. Hashem promises, I will give those who love me yesh, yud shin, substance. I will fill their treasuries. Va'oitzveisehem amalei. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu has this that is waiting for the tzaddikim. It's called yesh. Yesh. Now you remember that Chazal revealed to us that there are shai olamas. The Gemara says that there are shai olamas, that there are 310 worlds that await the one who is Zeichet Olam Haba, and the Oinig, the delight and pleasure of the coming world, is alluded to and hinted at in this pasuk in Mishlei. Lahanchel oihava yesh. I will give those who are my ohavim, who love me in this world, who love me in Olam Haza, I have waiting for them that which is called yesh, which Chazal tell us means shai. 310. Shai also means a gift. 310 elements. What does it mean again on our level? This gift of the next world. What is this yesh? Shai olamas. Again, what we're allowed to know. Taught. This is a world that is filled with. The world that we're living in is filled with that which is not substantial. It's not true substance. There are many things that appear to be substantial, but are not. It appeared to be yesh, very, very chashiv. The truth is, it's nothing, it's ayin. And we were put into this world and we were given the free choice, bechira. And a person has the ability to chalila, ignore that which is true yesh, which is true substance in this world, and in doing so, to chalila forfeit that gift, the shai, the gift of the shin yud olamus, of those worlds that are waiting for those who made the right choice in this world. Now, what's important here is that shin yud 310 is the gematria yakar. This is the code to opening this whole sugya. Shin yud, the 310 olamus, equals yakar. Equals yakar. This is the valuable, precious gift. Yakar, kol yakar ra'asa eino. The yakar, the yoker is precious, means bukovidik, that's waiting for the tzaddik in the next world. And a person is able to lose kol yakar, all that is truly valuable, true yesh. He's able to spend an entire lifetime being obsessed with that which is called reik. What's reik? Emptiness. Reik is the same letters as yakar. And essentially, every moment of our lives, we're making choices between yakar, keri, reik, hevel varik. Hevel varik, reik means narishkeit, means nonsense. The choice is between yakar and reik, or reik, also means what you spit out of your mouth. It's the symbol of the opposite of what's yakar. It's reik, hevel varik. So there's a teaching from one of the great Talmidim of the Talmidei Hagra, Rabbi Isaac Chaver. Rabbi Isaac Chaver was talking about Gan Eden. And the fact that Gan Eden is described in Torah as being a place of trees that bear fruit. It's the Eitz Hadas, the Eitz Chaim, and so on. And Rabbi Isaac Chaver points out that it is clearly not a gan of yerek, of vegetables. It's a gan of trees, of fruit-bearing trees, of eitzim. And the chiluk is, he writes, that a tree doesn't bear fruit right away. You have to be patient. You have to wait. There's a din of Arla also. even though there's something that might be growing and you have a taiva to take from the tree, you have to wait. Everything that we're going through is because Adam Rishon took from the tree. He was impatient. When it comes to a tree, you have to wait. It takes time until it grows. It takes time until it grows, and even once it's there, you have to be patient and you have to wait. So during that period of time till you're allowed to take from the fruit, you have to engage in the midah of ipuk. Lit'apek means, what does it mean, lit'apek? It's to hold back, like it says by Yosef HaTzadik. It's to hold back. It's to hold back, to wait. Masha'en came when it comes to vegetables. When it comes to yerek, vegetables grow very quickly. And you could have anah from them. You could have anah from them very, very quickly. If you want a cucumber, if you want to have a pickle, you have to wait a little bit longer. There was you know how I say pickles in Hebrew? Chamutzim. Really, it's malafafon chamutzim. But they say chamutzim in it, so it means pickle. So we had a makola downstairs from where we live. There's a little makola around the corner, that's where we go. And there's this guy sitting there with a couple of rings in his over there. And I went in, and my wife wanted to make a salad. She wasn't able to walk at the time, so I was back to doing my shopping like I used to when we were younger. And so I went down to the makolet, and I had the guy, there was nobody else there, he was just looked very uninterested, he was with his phone. I asked him, Eifa chamutzim? He goes like this, just like this, he goes. So I go, Ksat yoter. Kivun yoter meduyak. He goes like this, he goes. I gotta meet this guy. Now I'm friendly with him, right? Like his first was like that, and it was like that. Then I went around looking until I found the chamutzim. So if you want to grow chamutzim, if you want to grow cucumbers, I mean, if you want to pickle them, it takes a little bit longer. My mother used to make her own pickles. So that's very, very quick. And not only that you could have anah pretty quickly, it doesn't take much time to have anah. But you also know that when it comes to eating a vegetable, you're eating the keren. You're eating the whole thing. It's gone. So, masha'en okay, when you're eating from the fruit of a tree, the keren is a keren kayemet. Whereas the keren, the tree, is there, and you planted this tree, and you were patient and you waited, but now you can eat your children and your eniklos, the daris can eat from the tree. Can enjoy the tree because you're not swallowing up the etzem, you're not swallowing up the keren. You're only eating the pears. The keren, the actual substance, is something which remains. It remains on and on, blisof, be forever. So Isaac Chaver says, therefore, Gan Eden, which is the mashal, it's a real place, Gan Eden, the Ramban says Toros Adam. Okay. But the mashal of Gan Eden, of the place of absolute pleasure, of real, substantial pleasure, not passing, momentary pleasure, but the emes. The place of the reward for the tzaddikim is called Gan Eden, where somehow it's the Shai Elamas, which is a place of yesh, which is a place of yakar. Yakar is the opposite of the letters of vegetable, which is yerek, right? Yerek means something which might seem appealing for now. It's exciting for now. And you're tempted to grab it and not to wait. But when you do that, you have that momentary pleasure, but the keren is destroyed, is completely consumed, and there's absolutely nothing left. It's rake. After yerek, it's rake. There's nothing. And that whole taiva is a taiva of hevel v'rik, which is completely unsubstantial, that doesn't last at all. So now, when we want to understand what was the greatness of Yosef HaTzadik, we call this Chavur Yosef HaTzadik. And the whole avoida of Yosef HaTzadik, the avoida of Yosef HaTzadik is, as it says in Chumash, lehit apek, lis apek, which means lahamtin, means to wait. It means to hold back. It means you feel like indulging in this pleasure, and that this is at that moment it feels like this is something which is yesh, and I'm chayiv to have this yesh. This yesh is taking over my entire existence. When you're looking at that picture, or you're God forbid doing that aveira, you feel like doing that aveira, aveshis potifera. At that moment, it feels like there's no other yesh in the world. And the whole avoid of Yosef HaTzadik is lahamtin lidapek, to hold back, to wait. We see this in the Indian of Yosef HaTzadik, even with his brothers, and telling his father that he was alive. The koyach of Yosef HaTzadik was the koyach of ipuk, lidapek. Until it says finally, when the brothers, the whole Maisa happened, Vayigash, and they said, then that was it. It was time ready to say what? Ani Yosef. But until that point, you were losing our minds, saying, "Come on, Yosef! How can you do that?" And Yosef is like an unbelievable steel, iron, holding back, waiting for the moment. The Indian of Yosef HaTzadik is waiting and holding back. Adam Rishon did not do that on his Madrega, and everything began. All the problems began from that point, and he grabbed from the tree, from the fruit of the Eitz Hadas. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Gemara tells us in Erevin, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu divided our lives into two. HaKadosh Baruch Hu divided our lives into two. The Gemara says very clearly, Hayom la'asosam, u'mocher l'kabel scharam. Life is divided into two. There's the life in this world. Life in this world is hayom la'asosam. That's to be busy, doing what we're supposed to do. This is not the olam haschar. All the Ramchal, you learn Derech Hashem, Das Tunis. This is the Gemara says that this world that we're in right now is called hayom la'asosam. This is the time of doing. It's not the time of getting. It's the time of doing, to earn, to be able to have the Shai Erlemus afterwards, to have yesh, true yesh, afterwards. But this is the world of Hayom La'asosam, U'mocher L'kabel Schar. This is not the Olam HaSchar. This is the Olam HaAvodah. There are a lot of people who make that mistake, and they eat up, like the vegetable gets completely consumed, and they leave nothing for the next world. When they come to the next world, rake, ain't shum davar, because they ate up all the dividends, because they wanted to make in this world, because they believed they imagined that this is not only a place of avodah, it's Olam HaSchar, and therefore, I want everything in this world. I want to have it. I want to have it all. I want to have everything. I understand that I have to put on tefillin and do stuff, but I want to be able to get everything in this world. The emes is that that's the biggest mistake that we make, and that's why, as we grow up, it becomes more and more difficult to wait. We don't want to wait. This is a trait that you see, especially that's very common by wealthy people. I've noticed over the years, when it's not this way by a wealthy person, it's because he's a very, very big Balmidas. But one of the trademarks of people who make it big in this world is that achshav. It's the Olam HaSchar. This is the Olam HaSchar, not Olam Haba. This is the Olam HaSchar. And therefore, if you don't answer that millionaire's message after half hour, he already sends you a question block, right? The Grand Poobah sent you a message, and I'm used to getting everything right now. Give me a break. You're not waiting for Mashiach every day. You're waiting to cash in on the latest deal, and you don't want to wait long. It has to be now. All of our problems come with that confusion between these two worlds. This is not the world of schar. This is the world of work. It's a world of work. It's not work. It's not a world of schar. The Baruch Shalom throws us a couple of prutas here and there. You have to be very, very careful, not to imagine that not to get carried away with the prutas and to get lost and to imagine that this is the Olam HaSchar. It's not the Olam HaSchar. It's the Olam HaAvodah. Mochar l'kabel. Tomorrow. The whole Melchama with Amalek is over Mochar. If you look in the parashas, if you look in the Megillas Esther, Mochar kedas hayom. If you look at the whole story by Amalek in the Torah, it's always with the word Mochar. And Amalek is, we learned many times, is Reish is Goyim Amalek. The first three letters are what? Raga, which means now. The whole meaning of Amalek is to tell you that everything has to be now, not Machar. So Esther Malka says that I'm going to make a mishta for Haman tomorrow. You're invited tomorrow. Morche kedas hayom. And Amalek's whole inyan is achshav. Ein machar. There is no tomorrow. Everything has to be right now. So, Olam Hazeh is a world of waiting. It's a world of holding back. It's a world of believing that my God right now is hard work. And what about afterwards? That afterwards there's something that's called Olam Haba, a Gan Eden. Shai Olamas. Kol Yakar. The Yakar is not in this world. If you're looking for Kol Yakar in this world, that's not to be found in this world. That's why it's the Shara Chamishim. Kol Yakar is a lo b'olam hazeh. It's not in this world. Kol Yakar Asayin. That's why Rabbi Akiva in the end, he died al Kiddush Hashem. He was killed al Kiddush Hashem. Yakar be'eni Hashem amod solah chasida. I was talking about Kiddush Hashem yesterday. Yakar, David Mel says, Yakar be'eni Hashem hamod solah chasida. The tzaddikim know how to wait, even if it means dying. I'm not going to take what's not mine in this world. And that's why it says, Yakar is Yakar. Yakar be'eni Hashem hamod solah chasida. Because the tzaddik is not going to give up what is true yesh, what is truly Yakar, for that which is the imposter of Yakar, of yesh and Yakar. This world presents itself ki'ilu ein davar yakar mimenu. There's nothing that's more valuable than this world. There's nothing that's more valuable. So you have a choice at that moment. The bed is, you're very, very tired, and the bed is cozy, and the pillow is soft. And who's going to know where I am right now? Whether I go to Minyan, I don't go to Minyan. So, and anyway, there are a lot of Minyanim where we live. It's not like you live, in a town, out of town where you have to show up. Rabbi Yes will say, you okay? So, now there's a place where you can go to Minyanim all the time. So, you're feeling like, look, it's very soft on the pillow, it's very cozy. And right at that moment, it feels like Kol Yakar. This is Yakar Mohd. This pillow is yesh. What about davening? Okay, look, I don't have much kavanah anyway by daven. So the Gemara says ain't safek motzim devadai. So my davening is b'torah safek, and I'll have kavanah. My pleasure from the pillow is vadai. The Gemara says ain't safek motzim devadai. So what am I going to do? I'm going to give up a vadai pleasure for a safek of a little bit. Maybe I'll enjoy a pasuk. This is a vadai. This is good. And you have this craziness. Ki'ilu, this is yesh. And what is davening? Davening is reiki. Davening is not. This is yesh. So, right now, this moment, this is a harmless thing, obviously. I'm not talking about the Eshes Patifar. I'm talking about stop, resting a little bit. But zem mashiyakar, zem mashiyesh. Zem mashiyesh. What about Olam Haba? This is a world of avodah. Get out of bed and get to shul. There was somebody who I love very, very much, and I was talking to him yesterday. He was telling me, I asked him, you go to daven, you go to minyan. No. This is a world of avodah. Get out of bed. What do you mean? It's 7 o'clock in the morning, 6. Get out of bed and get to work. Aviyeshli, mita. I'm tired. I have a comfortable bed. I have a nice pillow. This is the yesh. Is yesh? That's your yesh. That's what yakar to you. Make a choice. Make a choice. The pasuk says, that's the pasuk in Mishlei. Hinichloks Baruch Hu. Hakadosh Baruch Hu has waiting. Hakadosh Baruch Hu has waiting. Shayir lamas lahanchile ahavai yesh. I have waiting for those who love me. Yesh. True substance. That which is real. That which is forever. Yesh. Lo Yisrael sayim amalei. And I will fill their treasuries with true yesh. The choice of this moment, when that Ashes Potiphera, whether it's that type of a thing or if it's the pillow, that choice of Ashes Potiphera is the choice that Yosef HaTzadik had. It's the choice that Adam Rishon had. Adam Rishon on his Medrega failed. Yosef HaTzadik, there was a mirshol, there was something that happened that was dislodged, and the whole cause of Ri'as Keri, the reason that we fail in that area of Shich V'Zer Levatolum, of Ri'as Keri, of spilling seed, is because a person feels Ani lo yachol la'amtin, Ani lo yachol lit'apek, Ani lo yachol l'chakot. Zeh kol ma sheyesh li, is the pleasure of this moment. I can't wait till I'm married. I can't wait, once I'm married, I can't wait till my wife is permitted. It's that I can't waitness. But all of life is waiting. And if you don't believe, it's terrible. If you don't believe that, if you believe that this is the whole world, that this is it, and it's finished. You know, you remember when he held a gun to the Frierdiker Rebbe's head, right? You know the story. You don't remember they were trying to get information. The Frierdiker Rebbe had a whole network of chadarim and yeshivas going on in communist Russia, right? And they caught up with him, and he was arrested, and they were interrogating him, and he didn't answer anything, and they tortured him. So the Russian put a gun to his head, and he said, "I'm going to kill you if you wanted names." He said, "I'm going to kill you if you're the person." And he pressed the trigger. Now, when that happens, there are people who could spend the rest of their lives totally deranged because of such a pachad, right? He didn't have, the gun wasn't loaded, but he pressed the trigger, and the Frierdiker Rebbe didn't even flinch. He just sat there. So now the Russian said to him, "Are you a human being? Like, what are you?" So the Frierdiker Rebbe told him, very simply, he said, "You have one gun and one world. To me, there are two worlds and no gun at all." That's what he said. Now, you can't fake that. It's a very cool thing to say, isn't it? Like, that's a great line, but you can't like plan that out. I'm gonna give the guy this great line. You can't do that. He says, "I have two worlds. He didn't say the word gun. He said your toy. He said the toy doesn't mean anything. That's the word he used in Russian. He told him the toy. Your toy doesn't mean anything to me. You have one world and one toy. I have two worlds and I don't care about the toy." That's what he told him. Kol yokara sein. That's you can only do that when kol yakar ve'asa einu, when you're to be able to say that this life itself is lo shaveli klum, nothing. Because there's nothing that's more valuable than your own life. That's why the pasuk says yakar ve'eni Hashem amov shel hasidav. To die al kiddush Hashem, to give up your life al kiddush Hashem means that you're giving up that which is most yakar, life itself, because you believe that I'd rather wait for something which is, I'm going to wait for that which is be'emet yakar, which is really yakar, more than life itself, more than this passing thing. The Rambam says it's best to just finish up and get out of here as fast as you can. That's what he said, the Rambam. Just finish it up. It's a world filled with nisyonos. Just finish it up and get out of here. Try to do your best. Don't mess up and get out. It's that choice that a person makes of how you look at every moment of this life as being a moment where you're planting a gun, you're planting a garden, You're planting trees, not vegetables. A vegetable is achshav. Yerek is reik, is keri. That's for now, right now, this minute. But you believe that every moment of your life is just planting. It's not having. This world is a world of hayom la'asosa. It's just planting. The fact that every now and then, again, that you get a little bit some. This is a world of planting. That's all. Every single moment, the Yosef HaTzadik is to plant righteousness. Is to plant good things. This is not the world of Eitzvayseim Amalei, of Shai Oilamis. Therefore, Shin Yud is the gematria Yakar. Yakar is 310. Shai Oilamis is 310. The choice of the person is you either try to eat. If you want to indulge in this world, then this world then everything is a vegetable. It's a yerek. Yerek, you could do that. Hashem gave you the choice. You could eat it all up right now. Then there's nothing left. Just like when you eat the vegetable, you pluck it from the ground, you eat it, it's gone. Nothing else is happening over there. Because that's the Keren. Or you believe that the Keren Kayim is Adam Hab. Or you believe that the world of yesh, of substance, of reality, is the world that's beyond this world. And if you try to hurry, and you're not patient, and you want to have that right away, so then you're going to end up living a life that's called Hevel Verik. And you could do that nowadays with a yarmulke and a talskot also. But a life that's Hevel Verik. You could become like I was talking about Erev Shabbos, a foodie. Or you could actually be inspired by a cheesecake on Shavuos. I mentioned that in Erev Shabbos because the advertisement now is for a cheesecake that has chocolate on it in the magazine. My wife showed me in the magazine and it said, "This Shavuos be inspired." I'm trying to understand how a cheesecake is inspirational. You could do it with a yarmulke with tzitzis and the beard and pays. You could look for your inspiration from a cheesecake. Could you explain what it means to be inspired by a cheesecake? I know what it means. You could be full. You could be satisfied. Oh Christ! But to be inspired, inspiration was a word that we use for certain kinds of things. No, but they're saying in a frum advertisement, there's a frum company, is if you want to have kol yakar, the main thing is not tikkun el shvuz. The main thing is the cheesecake. Of course you'll do the tikkun. But the kol yakar is to have the cheesecake. So now we understand. It says in Tilum Memtes, and we say this pasuk in the house of an Ovala Aleinu, in the capital that we say. Odom b'yikar bal yolin nimshal kebehemas nidmu. One of the few places where a person can really be honest is in the house of Shevil Aleinu, but even there, you could play along. But usually reality, it's a place where reality sets in when you're in a Shevil. So the pasuk in Tilum Memtes is Odom b'yikar bal yolin nimshal kevehemos nidmu. In English it's translated, man does not lie down with glory. His fate is that of silenced animals, silenced beasts. That's what I read in the fancy English. So Adam b'yikar, you hear the word yakar, right? Adam b'yikar bal yolin. Here, yakar is translated as covered. Glory, covered. Which is the same oasis as carry, as rake. Odom b'yikar. So Chazal darshan this on Odom Rishon. Odom b'yikar means that the correct sewer of a human being is to live a life of true covet, of true glory. That's the tachlis of living a life of true glory, which means avodas Hashem. And the covet, the pasuk is saying, is not to be like an animal. Not to be like an animal. The tragedy of Adam Rishon was that he was created with the greatest kavod, a nefesh elokis, v'yipach ba'apav nishmas chai, Adam Rishon, and the pasuk says, Adam b'yikar bal yolim, which means he didn't even sleep one night in his state of glory. He didn't even manage 24 hours. B'yikar bal yolin, he didn't have a whole 24 hours. Bal yolim. Nimshal kebehemus nidin. What's the difference between a human being and an animal? An animal is not, when an animal has a taiva, it goes for it. The animal has no musag, like a little kid. The animal does not have a musag of putting off its pleasure, of delaying. There's no Indian of an animal of lis apik, of waiting. The animal doesn't say, you know what, I had waiting. The animal doesn't have such an Indian of waiting. The animal is the Metzias of Taiva. So the pasuk says, "Adna b'yikar bal yolim." The nature of man is, even though I created him with a neshama, and he has the potential for unbelievable glory, and he could use this world as a world to plant for the next world. Adna b'yikar bal yolim. He doesn't even go to sleep with his glory. B'yikar. Even before he goes to sleep, he does something wrong, and there's Kerry, because he can't wait. And he falls into the world of Taivas, and Nimshal Kebehemus Nidin. And therefore he's compared, Nidin means to be compared, he's compared to an animal. Adam B'yikar means that you could have opted for Gan Eden. If you would wait, you would have a garden that's waiting for you. There's Gan Eden of Yesh, of Shai Olamas, because this world is not a world of Schar, it's a world of Avoda. So you could have had Kol Yakar. Hashem put Adam Rishon into Gan Eden, and Adam Rishon acted in a way that was inconsistent with the yakar of who he was, with the kavod of who he was. He was inconsistent with that, and therefore he had a type for that fruit, and he grabbed the fruit from the Eitzadas Tevera. Chazal tells us if you'd have waited until after Shabbos, it would have been Shayalomas. He didn't wait until after Shabbos. Adam B'yikar Bal Yolim, and therefore Nimshal Kebehemus Nidin. Nimshal Kebehemus Nidin. He was very impressed on his madrega with something in this world, and he was impatient. He couldn't wait because he saw something that was yakar, and it was so yakar that it became the most important thing in his life. And as a result of that, he forfeited everything. And that's the mistake that we make when we live in a way that's not like Yosef HaTzadik. When we cannot be misapek, we can't wait, and when there's something that's more important to us than our Yiddishkeit. That's the question every moment of life, and we'll continue with this next week. The question of every moment of life is, Ma yakar lacha? What is most valuable to you? So, your kid is sitting over there, you haven't seen him the whole day, or you haven't seen him much all week, and he's sitting there waiting for a good word, he's sitting there to spend some time with you. This is the hardest thing. And you love this kid more than anything in the world, but there you are with the toy. It's not a gun. It's more dangerous than a gun. You're sitting there with your toy, and your kid is waiting for something, and you make the choice. What's more valuable to you, the kid or your toy? Every single second of life, we're making that choice. What is it that, do you want to have a certain pleasure right now, or you're prepared to wait with that which needs, you'll wait, you'll take care of it, you'll wait if you can, sometimes it's emergency, but you'll wait, because yesh mashur yoter yakar. There's something that's more valuable right now that needs to be taken care of. Your kid, your wife, your Yiddishkeit. Yesh mashur yoter yakar. Yoter yakar. Something that's more valuable. You're either planting for something in the future. You're like an animal that's grabbing the vegetable that you could have now, and you eat the whole keren. And then after 120, you come and you see, right, ain't shum davar. You never planted anything. You ate everything up while you were alive. You got everything you wanted, and there's nothing left. That's the choice. Now, how Rabbi Akiva, why Davka Rabbi Akiva? To be continued. There are no questions, right?